Hello, everybody. Good morning and welcome to Making Love Great Again. I'm your host, DeAnna Lorraine, and this is Monday morning. Let's get started. We're in the middle of a romance apocalypse. There are more singles than ever before. Marriage is on the decline. And American values are being all but obliterated and repressed with progressive values. For the first time in history, the very concepts of marriage and romance, God, the family, and even gender are under attack. Our American values have been slowly deteriorating and replaced with liberal, progressive values. Speaking the truth is called racism. Patriotism is now called white nationalism. Believing in God makes you a bigot. The current state of America is directly intertwined with the current state of our relationships. We are actively enslaving ourselves into a loveless, joyless, genderless future. Men and women of common sense and a moral compass need to wake up to the destructive madness that is being thrust upon us in the name of progressiveness and political correctness, and look ahead to where this ideology is ultimately taking us. We can make America great again. We can make love great again. But we need to remember who we are. We need to remember the spirit and the values that once made this country and our relationships so great.
This is a struggle for the survival of our nation, and this will be our last chance to save it. This election will determine whether we're a free nation or whether we have only the illusion of democracy, and we will make America great again.
Hey, everyone. How's everyone's weekend going? Welcome to Making Love Great Again. I'm your host, DeAnna Lorraine, American patriot, defender of American values and our relationship values, and the author of my book, Making Love Great Again, The New Road to Reviving Romance and Winning at Relationships, now available on Amazon. What's going on, everybody? How's it going? What's the haps? I am also broadcasting from Phoenix again today. I'll be heading home tomorrow. And let's see what's going on, MAGA and MAGA family. Samuel says, stop throwing temper tantrums and start working, building, fishing, hunting, and camping again. Yes, right on. Hey, DJ. Yeah, you know what? I don't know about you, but my opening of my video, my opening of my podcast, let me know what you think of it, by the way. But so far, the opening of it, it kind of always brings me to tears every time I watch it. Especially the point where those liberal, spoiled brats are ripping down the statues and then they just start kicking the crap out of it. That part always brings tears to my eyes. And then when the next scene, when they're at a rally and some Antifa members go and grab the American flag from somebody that was carrying it and just starts ripping it, and then some other Antifas put tear gas in their eyes and a riot breaks out. To me, that always brings tears to my eyes because I think about how far our country has devolved and what it's devolved into. You know, it's devolved into like a group of animals who have zero respect for this country and no respect for the flag. And And they have no idea what our history means to us, to Americans, to patriotic Americans. So I don't know about you, but those parts just always bring me to tears. And I put them in my opening because we need to be brought to tears. We need to be brought to our knees in humility and realize that this country will go down in flames with progressive values if we don't put a stop to it. Progressive values are killing our relationships and they're killing our country, right? I mean, how can it be possible that, you know, just decades ago, maybe 50 years ago, we all, no matter what color of skin we are, no matter what race we were, sexuality we were, as Americans, we're all united by the same American flag. We were all saluting the same national anthem. We didn't tear it apart or look at it as racist or white nationalist. We just saluted and we just sang together as one American family, all in one country. The patriotism is what unites us. And Marxist liberal progressives are trying to divide our country and, of course, conquer our country. And the scary part is the sheeple that are following this cannot see it. They're too blind, too dumb to see it. Right? Do I speak French? I do not speak French. Why do you ask if I speak French? Wasn't Germany in a state of chaos prior to Hitler coming to power? Makes me scared to think America is in a condition that might accept a tyrant coming to power. Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, here's the thing, too. I don't know why you keep asking me if I speak French, but I don't speak French. I'm sorry. Should I be speaking French? Should I learn that? Yeah, I don't speak French, but it would be nice if I spoke French, I guess. Are you trying to give me a hint over there? Should I be learning French? So yeah, the other thing about that is it makes you realize that, look, we need our American values, and we used to have a country that knew that family was part of what was the glue that upheld our country, right? And we had family time on the weekends. We had hunting, fishing, camping, playing with our kids instead of having our kids go and snort condoms or burn themselves or eat Tide Pods and get into all sorts of trouble and temper tantrums. My biggest question these days have been, where are the parents? Where are the freaking parents, right? I do not speak French. This is the last time I'll answer that question because someone keeps asking a question if I speak French, and no, I do not speak French. Only if you go to Louisiana, except the tyrant comes in the form of groups of people. Yes, tyrants right now are the progressives, the Marxist progressives that are trying to take over our country, clearly. This is why this voting is so important, you guys. We cannot sit on our butts. Absolutely not. We can't sit on our butts. This is probably the most important round of votings that we're going to have. Second, well, obviously the 2016 election was the most important because that represented a revolution of patriots over the crazy progressive Marxists. But what is going to be the next most important monumental vote is this coming, the 2018. We need to keep our House. We need to keep the majority. And if too many Republicans sit on their butts, get lazy, or get apathetic and don't do anything, well, guess what? We may lose the House. I don't like that there's been several seats that have flipped in the last couple months to Democrat. How did we let this happen? Why are there seats flipping to Democrats? That really worries me, but it should give all of us a sign that we cannot be sitting on our butts, right? We cannot. We just can't afford to do that. Thanks for all the loves. Thank you for all the hearts, guys. Okay, I'm just in the eat Tide Pods, gross. What kind of idiocy do you need to have floating around to do that? Well, exactly. But you know, DJ, or Samuel, there's lots of kids eating Tide Pods. It's really gross because they're unsupervised. Ah, okay. So the guy asking me about speaking French is a troll. Thank you. No trolls allowed in my podcast. No trolls allowed, please. So first things first, we were talking about American values before, and we're talking about the most important election. You know, the thing about the Democratic Party, love them or hate them, what they are is organized. They are really, really organized. And that's a scary thing because they know how to mobilize, they know how to organize, they know how to get the vote out. And what I've seen is they're using the Parkland shooting of Valentine's Day. They're using that shooting as a huge voting tool, as a huge voting apparatus. And all the kids are rallying up the young voters, and they're making the voters commit to voting this year. You know, they're sending out all sorts of emails and text messages, reminders, follow-ups, and especially a petition that's having these kids commit to voting this year. And I think it's brilliant on their part because they're getting, of course, when someone commits and gives a verbal commitment that they're going to be voting, they're likelier to vote, right? They're that much more likely to vote. So we got to get just as organized. We can't sit on our hunches, guys. We've got to get just as organized and use their tactics against them. So this year, 2018, we've got to get really organized. Is Donald Trump
unfit to be president?
Now, what other things happened this year? Whoops.
He strikes me as a...
We had the Syrian strikes on Friday. You know, there was a supposed chemical attack in Syria, and then President Trump did these very specific airstrikes in Syria on Friday that he said were successful. What do you guys think of the Syrian airstrikes on Friday? Personally, I don't know at this
person
point.
Of above average intelligence who's tracking conversations and knows what's going on. I don't think he's
one of the things are going off here.
President. I think he's morally unfit to be president.
And then, of course, there's the James Comey interview, but we'll talk about that in a minute. So what do you guys think of the Syrian airstrikes on Friday from President Trump? I think, yeah, they're using women's connective nature as a way of creating chaos and false empathy. It's very manipulative but effective. Yeah, it's very manipulative but effective. And this is what they do. Has anyone read the book Rules for Radicals? Rules for Radicals. It is basically Marxism and current progressive liberalism 101. Any real Marxist out there, like Obama, obviously studied the crap out of this book. Hillary Clinton, all the Clintons, Loretta Lynch, everybody, they use these rules for radicals to create social change and to basically control the public. And every rule that they use, if you watch the Rules for Radicals book, you can use that, see how they work, and it's so obvious, their tactics that they use. It's just incredible. It's just all of the Marxist liberal tactics are right there for all of us to see and read in plain view. And one of their tactics is creating empathy. It's creating false empathy from events. And one of their big mottos is, you know, never let a disaster go unused, which means that they will use disasters that are unplanned for propaganda purposes and to change public opinion about something, to get empathy and to garner sympathy, and then to create a solution. Event, problem, solution, right? Or problem, reaction, solution. That's what it is. Problem, reaction, solution. And this Syrian event is no different. And I would even have to say that I don't even know if the Syrian event is real. Do we really know? I mean, have you guys seen have you guys seen that there's some videos out there that actually is showing the Syrians instructing their kids how to act like they're getting chemicals thrown on them, and they're writhing on the floor and they're acting, they're going like this, and then all the parents are cheering for them afterwards for their brilliant acting. Has anyone seen that? Syrian airstrikes were phenomena. These kids don't know their history and are mostly sheep seeking any attention they can get. Yes. Have you guys seen the video floating around? Does anyone follow here QAnon? Who follows QAnon? Anyone? I know there's a little bit of a delay. So we're talking about a couple different things here. We're talking about Syrian airstrikes, and we're talking about the voting, get out the vote, how the kids are being used from the Parkland incident to garner sympathy and get the kids to vote. And both of them really go the same way. They are, they are problem, reaction, solution. Of course, the solution is always presented by the Marxist liberals who are trying to destroy our country. Yes, so definitely all of you guys, if you haven't read Rules for Radicals yet, you should read it. The other very funny thing is the book Rules for Radicals was, it's dedicated to Lucifer. Yes, in the beginning of the book where it goes on the dedications, it shows what the book is dedicated to. Literally, it said, here's the ultimate rule for radical. Here's the ultimate radical that we are dedicating this book to, Lucifer, like as in Satan. Can you believe that? You can't get any more open than that, than dedicating an entire book to Satan, who they say is the ultimate radical, the ultimate rebel, the ultimate sinister liar-in-chief, Satan, Lucifer. And that's really scary. Any book that is dedicated to Lucifer, you gotta think, okay, put two and two together, not very good practices that are gonna help our republic. Oh, right, Hillary definitely, I mean, all of those kids, Hillary, whatever, Obama, they all went to the same education, indoctrination. So, let's see, I stand by the president. He didn't go after civilians. He went after the chemical plant and military targets. Yes, exactly. Something tells me, and I don't know about you guys, but something tells me that he is playing 4D chess here. And I know we always talk about 4D chess, but I really feel like something just feels off about this Syrian issue. I feel that there's not enough information to prove without a reasonable doubt that this was Assad and it was Putin that backed Assad into doing this, chemical warfare that happened in Syria last week. I don't feel that there's enough evidence to prove that that happened. I don't even know if it's real. Then president goes and shoots airstrikes on Friday. Something just seems a little bit off about it, and I don't know what it is, but I don't think everything is what we see. I don't think it's necessarily, everything that we're seeing about the situation is actually the truth. I think that there might be something going on behind the scenes. Someone, and I think maybe Trump is working with Putin. I don't know, but I do feel like there was something about this that seems like it was attacking the deep state somehow. But I don't know. I just don't think everything is always what we think it is. And I'm a constant questioner of and seeker of truth, so there's something off with that. So let's see. Looking at the comments. The Parkland incident reeks of agenda. Someone is manipulating these kids who experience trauma like they're pawns. If people really cared for them, they would be getting counseling. Maybe see a psychiatrist. Yeah, absolutely. I definitely think that they're not acting in any kind of normal human way. Anyone who has a normal human response wouldn't be responding if you really lost 17 of your friends, your good friends, and they all died. I think that the last thing you'd be doing is a few hours later starting a GoFundMe account and then going all on Twitter and going all on social media and then going on the news every single day. I mean, these kids have not even taken a break to even grieve or to mourn these supposed losses. That's just not normal human behavior at all. and multiply that by all of these kids that are constantly being shown in their little posse, there's just something that's wrong with that. Something reeks agenda to me as well. The deep state wants war. Yeah, I mean, they do want war. Why do they want war? And who follows QAnon? I didn't really quite get an answer to that, but I follow QAnon. I think he's really interesting, and it's cool to see the questions that he poses that most of us really know is going on with the deep state and the Clintons and everyone, but it's very interesting to see his conclusions with everything, how he puts the pieces together and wants us to put the pieces together. I'm just going through the comments, guys. Macron, a Miss Sports Guru, says, I'd say that Macron and May both confirming Assad is responsible and Putin backing him is enough to make it legit. But Macron and May aren't really that trustworthy, right? I thought that they weren't very trustworthy for us to assume that everything that they say is valid. I thought so. I mean, I don't necessarily trust everything that Macron and May say. Macron is really part of the deep state, I thought, and perhaps even May. The deep state wants war, says Will. Yeah, I support Trump too, but I'm always like looking and seeing. I don't really trust everything that the media tells us is going on. I mean, I'm a questioner, so I kind of right now I'm in sort of a wait and see mode. Like, okay, maybe this is everything that they're showing us, but I do feel like this is kind of a chess move of some sort. And I do follow QAnon. I think it's really interesting. You guys should follow him if you don't already. And he talks about, you know, all of this stuff that's going on behind the scenes is really going to come to light soon. And perhaps Hillary's going to be arrested, Obama is going to be arrested, Loretta Lynch, and all these people, even McCain, who's been proven to be a traitor. So we need to really be paying attention and understand that sometimes the things that Trump does may be a chess move that we can't really see yet come into play, but we're going to figure it out later. Vegas and Parkland deep state operations, absolutely, 100%. I think that there are deep state operations. Isn't it funny, too, that's no mention of Vegas now? How quickly did Vegas just kind of get washed under the ground? You know, we'd never hear about the Vegas thing anymore, but yet there were so many different loopholes that were left unfinished. So many different things that were left open. We don't know anything about Vegas anymore, and we never talk about it anymore. Also, the YouTube shooter. What happened to the YouTube shooter? YouTube shooter was like a day. It was like a one-day conversation on the news, and then after that, not it. Not a zilch. We haven't heard a thing about the YouTube shooter. Why? Because it doesn't fit the narrative. It doesn't fit the narrative. Thank you for the loves, guys. Thank you for the hearts. Thank you for the hearts. They won't ever arrest them, but they should be. Absolutely, they should be locked up. They've committed so many different crimes and of crimes against humanity and crimes of treason. You know, if they can't be locked up, then I feel like no one can. I get that they're very, very high profile and we would have riots in the streets if we locked them up. But why can't we still lock them up? I mean, do you think that the people would cause such a riot, such chaos in the streets if Obama and Hillary were locked up that we couldn't function? Like there would be a complete breakdown of our country? I don't know, but why can't they just arrest them at this point? We need more than just these QAnon crumbs. We need the whole cake. I want the whole cake. Thank you for the loves, guys. Yeah, it really pisses me off. I know. It's like, let's just indict them already. I doubt they both are helping to squash the collusive narrative. We can't get locked up. We can get locked up. Conservatives were locked up. All is staged. I agree. Now, what about this? What about, I think that you guys have probably heard the rumors that that there could be basically FEMA camps that they will put conservatives into. Do you think there's any truth to that? Do you think there's truth that that conservatives may very well be locked up into FEMA camps sometime soon? Johnny Bravo says, most of the time what is happening is media and leftist politicians all over Europe has been exploiting children for political purposes like they did with that boy who died on the seashore. Absolutely. Definitely. They always use children for empathy and potential solutions. They always use children, and this isn't anything new. And I really don't have much empathy for the David Hogg posse because they're not acting like normal children who are heartbroken. David Hogg isn't even 20. He's not 16. He's like 27, right? But they don't. If he wasn't such a bully and he wasn't such a jerk about all of this, and he's acting like a little entitled, spoiled brat who's mouthing off to everybody who tries to talk to him. He hangs up on the White House. I mean, why should I have any empathy for him? They're using the wrong talking head, if you ask me. If they were going to be using someone for sympathy, I would think that David Hogg would be the last person that they would try to use because he's not a very likable kid. He's a spoiled little brat. I don't trust Putin, Assad, Iran changing from the U.S. petrodollar, trying to break our economy. Yeah, I don't know what that's going on about. I don't know what that is either. I'm researching it. And who here has Bitcoin? Anyone here have Bitcoin? I'm trying to research that more. If I should buy a Bitcoin, should I not? What do you think about Bitcoin? And who here has experience with Bitcoin so far? Is this going to help or hurt things? The double standard when it comes to how media treats conservative is apparent. Oh yeah, it's very apparent. How about those who don't believe in love? Oh, we have to believe in love. Love is everything, you guys. We have to believe in love because if we don't believe in love, then what's the point of living? What's the point of living if we don't have love? And I'm going to read a little section from my book as well. There's no such thing as love. Marriage is poison and should be illegal. I don't think so. I think that you're missing the boat. I can understand why you feel like marriage is poison. It's poison if it's the wrong person. But please, have some hope and love because love can heal everything. Love can heal your heart. And we have to have hope. God created us to have love with our opposite sex partner. That's what he created. That's in his divine plan. And we're supposed to experience love. We're supposed to experience family. We're supposed to experience God and life through loving each other. So love absolutely exists. Or, I mean, maybe you think God doesn't exist. I believe love definitely exists. And the only way that we can live on this earth happy is if we have love in our lives. David Hogg's dad works for the FBI. His mom works for CNN, and he wasn't even there. So David Hogg just needs to be ignored. Absolutely, totally agree, DJ. He's just a total phony, left and right. Samuel, yes, his mom worked for CNN for like 30 years. She was an executive producer of CNN. How many more signs do we have to have? How many more coincidences waving in front of everyone's face? Do people need to see that this is clearly a setup? This is clearly a crisis actor, as are all of them. I mean, these lefties think that there's just like 50 different coincidences. What are the chances of that? The chances of that are so rare, but yet this happens constantly with these coincidences. How dumb do you have to be? Gordon says, Putin is my hero. He should be the leader of the free world, not Trump. Yeah, I have to tell you, I'm probably going to get tomatoes thrown at me right now, but I kind of like Putin. For some reason, I've always had respect for Putin. And I love the fact that he wrote that op-ed in the New York Times lambasting Obama. A couple years ago when Obama drew the red line, and then he didn't actually follow through with the red line, Putin wrote a letter that was published in the New York Times reprimanding Obama and talking about how weak and spineless he is and how he's destroying America. So ever since that, I've had a lot of respect for Putin. I think he's like a real man, a manly man. I think that he's tough. He's very tough on his own nation's interests, which I think that we should. We should have a spirit of nationalism and patriotism for a country. I think that's what makes our countries great. And he gets that. And he's also about God. He stopped trafficking into his country, or he stopped international adoptions going into and out of Russia, because he found out that so many of those adoptions were taking those children and trafficking them into pedophilic sex rings. So he said, no more. This isn't happening anymore. He put a stop to that. So there's a lot of things that Putin has done to gain my respect. And I think the other thing is anyone who attacks someone so much, the media, when they attack someone so much and say, you must hate them, you must hate this person is someone you're supposed to hate, that's when I get suspicious. Because anyone the media tells me to hate, there must be some reason for it. Maybe they're actually one of the good people. I don't know. Maybe that's just wishful thinking. And of course, I hate Soros. And, you know, again, I don't know enough information about Putin to tell you for sure, but don't you think it's suspicious when the media tells you over and over that you need to hate this person? It's like, why? Why are they covering up? And just like we need to hate Trump, what the media says. We need to hate Trump and Putin. But why? I just always question everything. Ooh, Dave Johnson, is the deep state responsible for my episode 4 not being available? You're right. I think so, because what happened, I don't know if you guys know this, but for my last episode on homosexuality, the homosexual agenda, it deleted. I can't access that episode. And I think that other people can't access it either. For some reason, it just dissolved. Deep state, coincidence? There are no coincidences, according to QAnon. Russia media says the same thing about the U.S. And there's good reason for that. Thank you for the loves, guys. Thank you for the love. Okay, so who watched the Comey interview? Did you watch the Comey interview? Thought the Comey interview was a big fat nothing burger again. And we'll play the clip in just a moment. But to me, I thought that the Comey interview was a big fat nothing burger. And not only that, but it just proved how corrupt the FBI is and how corrupt Comey is. I mean, we're supposed to have, I thought, the head of the FBI is supposed to be nonpartisan. He's supposed to be non-biased. He's supposed to be completely neutral so that he can do his job properly and he can lead the FBI properly. All of these three-letter agencies like the NSA, the CIA, and the FBI, they're supposed to be nonpartisan. So Comey releasing this book, which looks like a work of fiction, by the way, if anyone's reading it, anyone who's reading this book or watching what Comey's saying, it's showing you, it's proving to us how corrupt Comey really was and how partisan, how biased he really was. He hates the president. He hates Trump, and he's making no secret about that anymore. So why should we even have had, it proves that Trump did the right thing by firing him, right? Why should he have someone on the head of the FBI, running the FBI, who hates him so much and who's clearly hating him so much, who's clear about that? So this just proved to me that Trump did the right thing by firing Comey, right? No, I do not respect Assad and Kim Jong-un. I do not respect Assad and Kim Jong-un. I told you I like the fact that Putin was so vocal about criticizing Obama, who I cannot stand. I was thankful that he criticized publicly Obama, and that's why I respected him. Trump is a bad choice for president. I beg to differ. So do you think that Hillary Clinton would have been a better choice for president? Is that what you really think? And why? Why would Hillary have been a better choice for president? Some people are writing some really interesting things in here. Yes, I agree. With Captain Obvious, FBI, CIA are all deep state. Okay, so you think that Hillary Clinton is smarter than Trump, Sean John? Again, I beg to differ. Oh, Will. Okay. Sorry, guys. Yes, I'm reading from two chats. I'm reading from Periscope, and I'm reading from Facebook, and I'm reading from YouTube. And they've probably seen that the single life, the dating scene has not been good.
Let me tell you where my bar is.
Bueno. It's just wild out there right now. I mean, nobody really wants to. Yeah, so guys, if you were confused about the comments that I was reading, I'm reading from Periscope, I'm reading from YouTube, and I'm reading from Facebook. All different chats. Okay? Because I want to make sure everyone has love and I'm not ignoring any platform. It's funny how someone in there is saying, Rory is saying, or Sean John is saying that Trump is less smart than Hillary, that Hillary is more smart than Trump. I definitely have to disagree with that. Sorry. Sorry, guys. So what I think is that James Comey, his words, they reflect his self-interest over our national interest. And I think it's been proven at this point, you know, with Peter Strzok and Page tweets or text to each other and everything. I think it's been proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that the FBI has been compromised. The CIA has been compromised. These are no longer partisan, nonpartisan organizations. These are really the deep state.
A new excerpt from that blockbuster interview with former FBI Director James Comey. His first one-on-one interview since he was fired, sitting down with our own George Stephanopoulos.
Watch this for just a second.
Tonight, Comey reveals new details from one of the most controversial choices of his career. Why he went public about reopening the investigation into Hillary Clinton just days before the election. Here's ABC's David Wright.
It was the October surprise that Hillary Clinton believes torpedoed her chance to be president.
Tonight, breaking news, the FBI bombshell for Hillary Clinton.
Just 10 days before the election, then FBI Director James Comey sent a letter to Congress, alerting lawmakers the FBI found new emails that appeared to be pertinent on a computer Clinton's top aide, Huma Abedin, shared with her husband, disgraced former Congressman Anthony Weiner.
Hillary Clinton's convinced that that letter defeated her. What do you say to her?
I hope not. I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Oh, come on.
I sure hope not.
ABC's George Stephanopoulos pressed Comey about that.
He's such an actor.
Try to realize that I'm not trying to help a candidate or hurt a candidate. I'm trying to do the right thing.
And while Comey doesn't admit he handed the presidency to Trump, he does say he assumed at the time that Clinton was likely to win.
I don't remember spelling it out, but it had to have been that she's going to be elected president. And if I hide this from the American people, she'll be illegitimate the moment she's elected.
At the time, candidate Trump applauded Comey's decision.
And it took guts for Director Comey to make the move that he made.
Now, President Trump calls Comey a weak and untruthful slimeball.
Yes.
Quote, his handling of the crooked Hillary Clinton case and the events surrounding it will go down as one of the worst botched jobs of history.
Comey will be forever known as a disgraced partisan hack that broke his sacred trust with the President of the United States.
But Comey tells George he's not sure what other choice he had.
As I say in the book, I think I did it the way that it should have been done. I'm not certain of that. Other people might have had a different view. I pray to God no future FBI director ever has to find out.
Comey's book comes out Tuesday. It's the first big memoir from a major player in the Trump White House, someone who has been the lightning rod of so much controversy. The book itself and George's interview sparking new debate about Trump and about Comey. Easily the most controversial FBI chief since J. Edgar Hoover, Tom.
And we all look forward to that interview. All right, David, thanks so much. And George will have much more of his exclusive interview with James Comey and the fierce reaction to it tomorrow morning on This Week. And, of course, the full interview will air tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Eastern.
Okay.
Hi,
So
everyone. George
obviously,
Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for
he
checking out the
called
ABC
Trump
News YouTube
morally
channel. If you'd like to
unfit.
get more videos, show highlights, and
What do you think of that? Anyone watched this interview, the full interview last night? It was just a giant nothing burger once again, just like the Stormy Daniels interview. Giant nothing burger. And it's kind of, I think this is embarrassing. This is embarrassing. You know, what literally the head of the FBI is being interviewed about salacious details with him damning the president and him criticizing the president in very petty ways too. Talking about his ties being too long, or that he wears the color red, and comparing him to a mafia boss, and comparing Steve Bannon to a mini Joseph Goebbels. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Hillary has accomplished nothing except killing. At least Trump has made something better. Yeah, at least he's trying to make some things better. He's trying. Trump is trying, I think, he's trying to right this ship. He's trying to right the country again. He's trying to unite the country. He may not be doing a perfect job of it, but he's really trying to get this into a better place. And all the liberals keep doing is throwing roadblocks in front of him every step of the way to get him to keep the country down. They don't want us united. They don't want us having fun. They don't want us enjoying our families or having a successful country or relationships. They want this country to go down under and bring all of us down in flames with it. Thank you for the loves and hearts on Periscope, guys. You guys are so great, so nice. Putin arms Assad, so then you are okay with bottle barrels of chlorine and sarin gas? No, I'm not. I'm not okay at all with chlorine gas. I'm not okay at all with any of these things, any of these chemical weapons. Seems like there's several people duplicating their comments or something in this chat room. Johnny Bravo says, Hillary Clinton has been a disaster as a Secretary of State. Why would anyone be in their right mind vote for Hillary? Has anyone forgotten about Benghazi, Libya? Oh, absolutely. There's nothing about... Ask him what he knows about Hillary that makes her smart besides her Ivy League education. Intelligence does not equal wisdom, and Hillary has zero wisdom and cannot relate to the general public. No, we're talking about a woman who literally has criticized over 60 million people in the country, 60 million Americans. She just criticizes every chance that she gets. She slanders them. She says they're stupid, that they can't think for themselves, that they're illegitimate, that they're deplorable. I mean, it's been a year and a half, and they still believe that the president won illegitimately, which basically invalidates all the millions of Americans that voted for him, right? That all of us are illegitimate, or we're somehow brainwashed, and that's why we voted for him. We can't think for ourselves, or we're stupid, and that's why we voted for him. Enough of that. She clearly has is completely out of touch with the American soul. She clearly has no basis, and she is the puppet. She's the sheep. I've already said, somebody keeps asking why I'm respected Putin. I said I respected him. Once again, I said I respected him for criticizing Obama openly to America. He criticized Obama, saying he was weak and spineless, and his policies were harmful to Americans. That's why I respected Putin, because of that public condemnation of Obama. Not because of any chemical warfare, chemical gas incidents, or anything like that. And I respected him because he's a nationalist. He puts his country first. And he's made certain policies. You know, he's gotten rid of GMOs in his country because he's trying to protect his people. He got rid of international adoption because he's trying to protect his Russian people, his citizens, from child trafficking and sex trafficking. So this is why I respected him, but not for, there's many other reasons why I don't respect him. I'm not saying I thoroughly, all-encompassingly respect him. Mr. Dragon Slayer, I'm doing great. Thank you. I appreciate the compliment. Hawaiian Tropic says, American people have much more in common with Russian people than a libtard monarchy like UK. I agree. Dave Johnson says, oh no, that episode number 4 had "you must eat a lot of Campbell's soup" one-liner in it. Yeah, and that was great. That was a great one-liner. Yes, Obama put this country in such peril. Yes, totally. So I'm going to also now read, here's what my thoughts are on this. We're going to just switch gears here for a little bit. And I want to show you just what's on the cover of this ridiculous magazine, which is always the case with these people. Have you heard of everydayfeminism.com? It's really like everydaygarbage.com. Hold on. Oops. Wait till you get a load of this. And hi to all the people that just joined. Everydayfeminism.com. You guys should listen to this, or should look at this magazine. It's a ridiculous magazine, and it basically spreads all sorts of liberal, progressive propaganda and is dividing everything up. So marriage institutions aren't just sexist, they're ableist and disrespectful to people with disabilities. Can you believe this? I mean, you cannot make this stuff up. These are ridiculous articles that are cloaked as intersectional feminism, but all they do is spread liberal propaganda, and it's horrible, and it's just dividing people up. Look at just some of these headlines that I want to go over. Here's how you can challenge white feminism. We're going to go over that in a second, but just look at some of these articles and tell me what you feel. Here's how you can challenge white feminism. So it's not even enough to be a feminist and to ally with other women or be a part of the sisterhood, which I think is bogus in the first place. But now you have to challenge white feminism. And if you have any doubts that this is a divide and conquer strategy, this is Marxism 101, and part of Marxism is dividing and conquering, where they take groups of people and fan the flames of resentment among each other, have them fighting each other, so they're constantly fighting each other, and they're not focused on the real enemy, which is a corrupt and controlling tyrannical government, which is what we're starting to have now. So, you know, this is just a part of that. It's no longer, it's just all women are together, but now it's white feminism versus black feminism, or all these other different kinds of feminism that they make up. So they'll never, the solution, there will never be a full solution to it for as long as they're breaking people up. And now look at this ridiculous headline. Marriage isn't sexist. They're ableist and disrespectful to people with disabilities. Crazy, right? In order to achieve full equality, society must recognize that disabled people are non-monolithic, deeply complex human beings with hopes, desires, fears, and goals, just like everyone else. This is what's stupid. 20 reminders every feminist needs, but no one tells us. 3 differences between the terms gay and queer and why it matters. So this is what people expect them to spend their time on. This is what feminists and progressives want people spending the hours of their day on. All of this acidine bullshit that keeps people in the mindset of division and anger and animosity towards people, towards other Americans, instead of just unity and peace and love. And the millions of people that are following this bullshit are just sheeple. Cultural appropriation in fiction. Here are some tips to consider when your writing includes different culture. Cultural appropriation, it's another Marxist made-up word as of recently. Practice decolonization webinar. Decolonize your activism. Indigenize your movements and champion indigenous resistance. Like, what is that? This is all just made-up BS. 4 reasons why it kind of sucks being the first Black woman to do something. Oh, how depressing to accomplish something. Notice again how it's the spirit involved in all these kinds of articles. They're not the spirit of American exceptionalism. It's not the spirit of American values or creating the American dream. It's a spirit of keeping people down and broken, keeping people a victim, right? It's all about victimization, and it's sick. Let's just peer into how you can challenge white feminism and see what that's about. And look, let's be real. Mainstream LGBTQIA organizations aren't really showing up for QTPOC. I don't even know what that means. Here's what you need to do now. It's always what we can do better. What we can do better. We're never doing enough for people of color. We're never doing enough for LGBTQIA. We're never doing enough for any of these things. So we just have to keep trying harder, doing better, and being more of a martyr and a victim. It's constant, right? How do people even listen to this garbage? And then we'll go back to the comments, because I want to hear what you guys think of this BS. Not that kind of feminist, moving beyond white feminism. How to kick exclusionary feminism to the curb and practice intersectionality in your daily life. Like, who has time for this BS? Moving beyond white feminism. Who has time for this? These people need to get a life. They need to get a life. In this webinar, you will learn about the history of intersectionality and the important figures who brought it to the forefront of our movements. Yes, all radical Marxists, like Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Examine current movements such as Me Too, body positivity, and reproductive justice, and evaluate them through an intersectional lens. This is ridiculous. Okay. Now, here's the other thing. Here's another article that came to me today. Oops. It was about body positivity. Body positivity. Okay, well, now I can't find it now. But it was an article on body positivity and why women need to be positive and know that thinness is not a sign of health. That's what they say. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Here's this. Here's why the definition of body positivity isn't up for debate. And then it goes on to talk about basically that you can be healthy, you know, thinness or being in shape isn't necessarily a sign of good health or bad health. And people who have, you know, a fat body, they shouldn't be shamed to be thin, nor should they work out on the premise of body shaming. All right. And to me, that's BS, right? Because it actually is a sign of good health to be in good shape. It is. So why are we pretending that it isn't? Thank you, guys. Johnny says, intersectional feminism is after white men, then white women, because they both have privilege, which equals to sin, not merit. Exactly. This is what I think is hilarious and ironic that, you know, first this intersectional feminism was all about white men or just men in general, right? And tearing men down. Then it targets just white men in general. And now it's targeting white women. It's almost like white women are just as bad as this evil patriarchy that they proclaim is going on. And all of it is just to divide and conquer and to create victim groups who are then allied. And none of it is creating peace. None of it is creating love. It's some Mein Kampf garbage. Yeah, absolutely. Some of the worst women I've met are feminazis. And you guys, I mean, this is true. When you work out, you feel better and you are healthier. When you exercise, you are healthier. Being thin or being in good shape is a sign of health. It is. So why are we lying to women and saying that you can be fat and still attractive to most men, or you can be super out of shape and that's okay because it's body positivity? It's not really true. So why are we lying? Well, I guess it's because the left loves to lie. All they do is lie after lie after lie. They're on a mission to create women ugly, to make women as ugly and undesirable and unattractive as possible, I think. I'm overweight and trying to fix that. Saying I'm just fine won't make it so. Exactly. Well, it's lying to ourselves, you know? Intersectional feminism teaches bring others down as opposed to lift yourself up. These people hate doers and achievers. Exactly, Chris Jackson. Exactly. It's exactly what happens. They hate anyone that wants to do better for themselves or achieve more. They want to keep people as victims and keep people lazy and not everything that the American dream, the spirit of American values are not. They don't want peace. As soon as we start fighting each other, they get to declare martial law. So true, Captain Obvious. Captain Obvious. Now I see why you got your name. Captain Obvious. Let me read a little section of my book, Making Love Great Again, available on Amazon. I'll show you a little piece of my heart. This is the chapter on feminism and the death of chivalry. Okay? Okay, leading the sheep to slaughter. And this is on feminism and the death of chivalry. Betty Friedan, author of the famous book, The Feminine Mystique, laid the groundwork for what would become the modern feminist movement. The new second wave of feminism demanded that women perform the exact same roles that men do, no matter the cost. Many feminists don't seem to realize that Betty Friedan and most prominent feminists and sexual revolutionaries were Marxists, and that the modern feminist movement was predicated on just that, Marxism. The strategy of Marxism, which is also the root of communism, has always been to categorize people into separate groups and then cultivate a victimized or oppressed group along with an oppressor for which to blame all of the problems on. They then convince its members that solidarity is required against the oppressors. Why? Their theory is that by creating division, then conflicts and tensions arise among the groups of classes. Once chaos has ensued for a while, the plan is to present socialism as the solution. And then let me read about intersectional feminism. Now, I understand that modern feminism is no longer about women's equality anymore, but also includes the plights of people of color, people with disabilities, immigrants, indigenous people, LGBTQIA people, basically any supposed oppressed group. This is intersectional feminism. But this is by design because cultural Marxism stratified society horizontally amongst a wide variance of ethnic, social, identity, sexual orientation, religion, and other categories. The objective is being to create new victimhood groups, then stir them up to make them as vocal and radical as possible, and emphasizing resentment and victimhood. So, it's a very sneaky strategy because for as long as there are plenty of victim groups, then women remain victims and still believe that there is a problem to fix. Systemic sexism and inequality, and thus remain in fighting mode and hell-bent on attacking men and the patriarchy, instead of loving men and focused on building marriages and families with them. So this is out of my book, Making Love Great Again. And then I'll leave you with something else, something positive. Cringe. We have seen how respect is the #1 need for men. In the last few decades, a lot of women, especially those who identify strongly as feminists, are unknowingly doing a lot of things to disrespect men. Women feel like they have to be just as powerful as a man and fight for power in a relationship with men. But at your core, what is really the big deal about having your man be more powerful than you in certain ways? What is the big deal about him wearing the pants in the relationship? Do you really want a man whom you can dominate? When you think of having your most passionate lovemaking with a man that just knocks your socks off, how would you describe him? Is he docile, soft-spoken, and lets you be the boss? Or is he powerful and confident, walks over to you with a sexy swagger, grabs you, and just ravishes you? Let's be real here. No woman has powerful desire for a passive beta male whom they can control and dominate. And then I go into talking about the dating commandments for women and for men. How's everyone doing before I wrap up? Thank you for the loves. Thank you for the hearts. Why is it that you never see female athletes complaining about lack of equality or body positivity? Right, exactly. I love you too, Hawaiian Tropic. Johnny Bravo says, am I aware of Camille Paglia, another lovely Italian-American? I am aware of her, and there's actually a quote from her in my book. There's a quote from Camille Paglia in my book on feminism. What does she say? She had a great quote. Camille Paglia once said, men have sacrificed and crippled themselves physically and emotionally to feed, house, and protect women and children. None of their pain or achievement is registered in feminist rhetoric, which portrays men as oppressive and callous exploiters. Yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. I like Camille Paglia and what she has to say. Here's what I have to say about that. The definition of synergistic, relating to the interaction of cooperation of two or more organizations, substances, or other agents to produce a combined effect greater than the sum of their separate parts. So the combined effect is greater than the sum of their separate effects. If women are compelled to overcome what makes them inherently women, and men are required to overcome what makes them inherently men for the sake of gender equality, then we will no longer have a synergistic and complementary relationships with each other. We will no longer need each other. Is this something that will bring men and women closer together, revive romance, and create more passionate and harmonious relationships between us? Whether gender and gender roles are primarily nature or nurture, or a combination of the two, the conclusion is the same. Having separate but equal in value gender identities and gender roles are beneficial, and they're necessary for creating loving, passionate, and cooperative relationships between men and women and more successful societies. Yes, we need each other. We need our differences. Our differences are what create passion, they're what create romance, and they're what create our successful relationships with each other. We are different but complementary and synergistic. The romantic heterosexual relationship satisfies the male and female's deepest, most intense psychological needs, desires, and longings. The romantic relationship combined with the traditional family unit is set up to provide us with everything we need to survive and thrive in life. Forcing equality at all costs and eradicating gender sets men and women up to be brutal competitors and rivals rather than companions, and certainly not romantic lovers. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap up here. I love you so much. I will be back on again Wednesday and Friday, 9:30 a.m. Pacific time to 10:30 a.m. That's 12:30 p.m. to 1:30 p.m. Mwah. And thank you, Captain Obvious. I look forward to you coming on my next broadcast. Dave Johnson says, hey, DeAnna, I'm looking for a 40-year-old woman with a 25-year-old face and body, you know, like yours, with low standards who's willing to settle. Can you help me find her? I mean, if you send me an email, you guys, my website is DeAnnaLorraine.com. DeAnnaLorraine.com if you want to look at my coaching services for men and women and my matchmaking services. Go to my website and fill out a free consultation form, and we can have a free phone consultation so I can go over your needs and your goals and what you're looking for and see if I can help you. But my services are at a charge. I mean, this is my business, so I don't do coaching for free, but I will be your coach or matchmaker if we decide that that's a good fit for us. Okay? Women don't want to win. They want a winner, Chris Jackson says. Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for all the loves and hearts, guys. You guys are amazing. I love you. And with that, I'm going to sign off. Let's make love great again and make America great again. See you on Wednesday. Bye, guys. Bye, Will. Bye, Dave. Bye, Captain Obvious. Bye, Chris. Thank you. And I'm going to close with a prayer, you guys. I'm going to close with a prayer. I pray that more women and men For all of you guys who are still on, thank you. I pray that more women and men see the light and can open their hearts to love instead of hate. They can open their hearts to unity rather than divisiveness. And they can open their minds to truth rather than lies. I pray for love and protection for our great President Trump and his family and all those working for us, that they remain safe and resilient in the face of so many forces working against them. I pray for all of you and the truth warriors of the world who are courageously speaking and defending the truth and working to bring those who are in the darkness over to the light. In the Bible, in Ephesians 6:10, the Lord says, "Put on the full armor of God so that you will be able to stand firm against the schemes of the devil. For our struggle is not against the flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the powers, against the world forces of this darkness, against the spiritual forces of wickedness in the heavenly places." I pray that all of you find love and lasting life, and that God puts an incredible partner in your life to be with you during this journey, and blesses you with an incredible family, joy, and all the blessings that you deserve. And lastly, I pray that good conquers evil, that love conquers hate, and that together and with God's help and grace, we are able to make our country and our world great again. For this I pray. In the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen. All right, guys. Bye, everyone. I'll see you next time.